Hello friends, I welcome you all for the next lecture of the subject Infrastructure Engineering and Construction Techniques. In last lecture, we have gone through the important component of permanent way, that is ballast. In this lecture, we are going to focus on the next important component of permanent way, that is sleepers. Along with sleepers, we will also focus on the slipper spacing and slipper density along with the numericals. So, slippers are members generally laid transverse to the rails on which the rails are supported and fixed to transfer the load from rails to the ballast and subgrade below. So, the first photo shows the permanent way. In that, we can see these are the rail sections which are resting on the slipper. The second photo shows the railway track in which this is a rail section running parallel to each other, and the transfer members are these are the slippers. So, when there is a movement of heavy load from this railway track, whatever the load comes on these rails will transfer to the slippers, and these slippers then transfer that load to the ballast. This is ballast. So, the functions of slippers are to hold the rails to correct gauge. So, gauge is nothing but the center to center distance between these two rail sections. So, the first and primemost function that is performed by slipper is to hold the rails at correct gauge. This is a gauge. The second function of slipper is to hold the rail in proper level on transverse tilt. If there is a tilt or slope, in that case, slippers hold the rail in proper level. The slippers also acts as a elastic medium between the ballast and rails to absorb the blow and vibrations, or we can say shocks and vibrations of the moving heavy loads. The slipper also distribute the load from the rails to the index area of ballast underlying it or to the girders in case of bridges. It support the rails at a proper level in straight track and at proper super elevation on curves. In subsequent lectures, we are going to focus on the various terms in which super elevation is also included. The slippers also add to the longitudinal and lateral stability of the permanent track on the whole. The various types of slippers are available, but there are certain standard requirements of slippers. So, first requirement is the slippers should be economical. The cost required for the slipper, it should not be too high, that is, it should be economical. The next requirement of slipper is the weight of slippers should not be too heavy or excessively light for the ease of handling. If the weight of the slipper is more, then it becomes difficult for handling, but at the same time it should not also be excessively light. The next requirement of slipper is slipper should be capable of resisting shocks and vibrations due to passage of heavy loads of high speed train. So, whatever the loads that is transferred by high speed trains, the slipper should take that shocks and vibrations. The next requirement is the design of slippers should be such that they should not get damaged during packing process. as in between rails and sleepers ballast is there, means at the time of fitting of permanent way the slipper should not get damaged. The next important requirement is the design of slippers should be such that they are not easily pushed out due to moving trains, especially with steel slippers with rounded rails. The next important criteria is an ideal slipper should also have an anti-sabotage and anti-theft qualities, means the slipper should not get removed easily from the track by the thief. Coming to the next point, that is classification of slippers. Variety of slippers are available in the market. First type is the wooden slipper. Wooden slippers are subjected to decay, therefore not in use. The second type is the metal slippers. Metal slippers may be of cast iron type or steel slippers. And third important type is concrete slippers. So concrete slippers may be of reinforced concrete slipper or pre-stressed concrete slipper. So the first is steel slippers. Steel slippers are in the form of steel trough inverted on which rails are fixed directly by keys or nuts and bolts and used along sufficient length of track. So here the photo shows these are the steel slippers in the form of a steel trough, that is inverted, on which rails are fixed. Here rails are fixed directly by these keys and nuts. Here we can see these are the slippers. The rails are fitted. These are the rails that are fitted on the slippers by using these nut and bolts. If we see the advantages of steel slippers, it is useful life is 20 to 25 years. As it is a steel slipper, so it is free from decay and are not attacked by vermins or insects. The connection between rail and slipper is stronger, as well as the connection between rail and slipper is simple. The next advantage is more attention is not required once we have laid the slipper on the track. It also having better lateral rigidity as compared to other type of slippers. It also have good scrap value. It is suitable for high speeds and load. It is easy to handle and it also provides good resistance against creep. So creep is nothing but the hair like cracks formed on the rails. Coming to the disadvantages of steel slippers, it is liable to corrosion by moisture and cannot be used for all sections of rails and gauges. So we have seen the three types of rail sections, that is double headed rails, bull headed rails and flat footed rails. So steel slippers cannot be used for all such sections. The cost of steel slipper is also high. Steel slippers can be badly damaged under derailment. Derailment is nothing but the rails are slipped from the railway track and because of which steel slippers get damaged. The rail seat is weaker of steel slippers. The steel slippers having a good shock absorber as there is no cushion between rail foot and ballast. So these are the various disadvantages of steel sleepers. Next type is the concrete sleepers. Concrete sleepers has been proved that concrete is an ideal material for the sleeper due to following reasons. They are made up of strong homogeneous material. Concrete is impervious to effect of moistures. Concrete withstand the stresses produced by fast and heavy traffic. Concrete is unaffected by the chemical attack of atmospheric gases or subsoil salts. Concrete can be easily molded to size and shape as per the requirement, and because of which concrete sleepers became more popular as compared to other type of sleepers. So, due to chronic shortage of wooden sleepers and need for better design and economy of sleeper on sustainable basis, the concrete sleepers are of two types. The first one is the RCC concrete sleeper and second one is the pre-stressed concrete sleeper. The figure A shows RCC concrete sleeper and figure B shows pre-stressed concrete sleepers. If we see the advantages of RCC sleepers, RCC sleepers are free from natural decay and attack by vermins, insects, etc. The concrete sleepers have maximum life as compared to other types, which is 40 to 60 years under normal conditions. And RCC sleepers are not affected by moisture, chemical, ballast, cinders, subsoil, salts, etc. The disadvantages of RCC sleepers are weight of sleeper is as high as 2.5 to 3 times of wooden sleepers. The next disadvantage is they damage the bottom edge during packaging, as we have to pack as we have to fit the rails to the sleepers, that is at the time of packing the bottom edge of the RCC sleepers get damaged. The scrap value is almost nil for the RCC sleepers and the damage to the concrete sleeper is very heavy in case of derailment. So these are the advantages and disadvantages of RCC sleepers. Next type is the pre-stressed concrete sleepers. All the disadvantages of RCC sleepers have been eliminated by pre-stressing technique for sleepers. In pre-stressing, concrete is put under high initial compression. The design of pre-stressed concrete sleeper is based on first one, that is maximum permissible compressive strength of 211 kg per centimeter square, and the second criteria for design is the pre-stressed wires stressed at an initial stress of 8.82 kg per centimeter square. There are certain disadvantages of pre-stressed concrete sleepers. The pre-stressed concrete sleepers get heavily damaged in case of derailment. The special type of bed of ballast is required for pre-stressed concrete sleepers. These are uneconomical. The standard of maintenance is very high. These are more rigid in nature. The design construction is complicated. So this is about the various types of sleepers. Next is we are going to discuss two important definitions, that is sleeper spacing and sleeper density. First is the sleeper spacing. The space between the two adjacent sleeper determines the effective span of the rail over the sleepers. The spacing of sleeper depends upon first one, axial load which the track is expected to carry, and second is lateral thrust. The number of slipper in track is indicated by number per rail length. Suppose this is a railway track and these are the slippers that I have laid. So slipper spacing is nothing but the distance between these two slippers. The distance between these two slippers is called as a slipper spacing, and the number of these slippers is indicated by number per rail length. Suppose this rail length is for BG 12.8 meter. So for this one rail length, what are the number of slippers required is called as a slipper spacing. Since slipper also provides lateral stability to track, so more the number of slippers, more is the lateral stability. Means if we provide more number of slippers, so the stability achieved will be more. But the number of slippers cannot be increased indefinitely, as certain minimum distance is required for packing the ballast. In India, this minimum distance for manual packing of ballast is kept to 30.5 cm to 35.5 cm except at joints. The next important term is slipper density. So the slipper density is the number of slipper per rail length and is specified as m plus x or n plus x, where m is the m represents the length of the rail in meters, n represents length of the rail if it is given in yards, and x is a number. In India, slipper density varies from m plus 4 to m plus n if it is a main track. For example, if the length of the rail is 13 meter, then 17 slippers are required, and which is expressed as m plus 4, that is, here m is length of the rail as 13 meter. Therefore, 13 plus 4 is equal to 17 slippers are required for a rail length of 13 meter. Based on these, we will just have a focus on simple numericals. Example number 1, the statement of the numerical is: find out the expression for slipper density for a BG track if 19 slippers are used under a rail length. So here it is given that they have used BG track. So length of the rail for BG track is 12.8 meter, or we can say it is nearly equal to 13 meter. So slipper density is expressed as slipper density is equal to m plus x. Here slippers density is given as 19 and value of m is 13 meter. So if we simplify the equation, we will get the value of x is equal to 6. Therefore, we can express the slipper density as m plus 6. Coming to the next numerical, the statement of the numerical is: using a slipper density of m plus 5, find out the number of slippers required for constructing railway track of 640 meters long. So here again BG track is given. So length of each rail on BG track is 12.8 meter, or we can say it as a 13 meter. So therefore total number of rails required will be 640 meters divided by 12.8, so it becomes 50 rails, and slipper density given as m plus 5. So number of slippers under each rail is equal to 12.8 plus 5, that is 17.8, which is nearly equal to 18. So we have calculated the total number of rails, that is equal to 50 rails, and total number of slippers required will be 50 into 18, that is 900 slippers. So this is about the slipper spacing and slipper density. So with this we will stop here. Before that, we will just focus the factors governing the slipper density. There are various factors which are considered for the slipper density. First one is the axial load and speed of the train, the type and section of rails, as 3 type of rail sections are available. So slipper density is the governing factor. The type of ballast and ballast cushion is used, the type and strength of slippers, and nature of foundation. So these are the various factors which should be considered at the time of slipper density. So friends, we will stop here and will continue in the next lecture. Thank you.